Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
Joshua Shrum. He is a very talented steward, very knowledgeable.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. This is one of those podcasts where I listen to every episode. I love what he's putting out there.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. Josh Shrum.
Parcels of Knowledge. Does a fantastic job with that podcast.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God. We need Article 8 scholars right now.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.
Good morning and welcome back to Parcels of Knowledge, the podcast dedicated to delivering knowledge to the city letter carrier with your host, the Roseville Wrecking Ball. Today we have the discipline guru in the house. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's going on, y'all? My name is Obadiah Batten. I'm from Williamsburg, Virginia. Well, I operate out of Williamsburg, Virginia, branch 496. And thank you for having me on here, Josh. I really appreciate it, my man.
Oh, no problem, man. Don't you have your own thing going on? Don't you have your own socials? Like, I know you have a TikTok, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I have it. I'm on every social media platform because I was a wrestler, a pro wrestler. So, I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all of them. You can find me on The Activist OBT.
Okay.
Just about everything. You can even look me up. You can even look me up on Google, and you'll find a bunch of stuff on me.
Okay, I'll be sure to check that out. But today we're going to go over 3 different disciplines that Obi had brought, and they are from his station, from his own experience. He's going to talk about some of the techniques he used one by one. We're going to talk about these 3 discipline cases, and I'll let him take it away. You know, I'm sick, so maybe he'll do me a favor here.
I'll try my best, Josh. I'll try my best. For the first one we're going to start is one that I did, and this is May of 2025, and this was a 7-day suspension that I've gotten. And by the way, I am the steward and Formula for my branch, so I do double duty here, kind of like a mini president, if you will. So what they did here, I think this one was about improper conduct. There's an improper conduct grievance, and I'm just going to read. I'm gonna read the charge. Okay, so this charge is basically saying, it says you are assigned the duties of a carrier technician at Williamsburg Post Office. Blah blah blah. However, your recent conduct, as identified below, indicates that you have failed to meet these requirements. It says, I was scheduled to work on April 14th and April 15th, 2025. The AM supervisor circulated as required and distributed the anticipated leave and return times for all carriers, which I can't stand them doing that. You received 4 instructions that day, which involved managing your route. However, you failed to adhere to every instruction, delayed mail, returned packages without stop the clock scan, and left packages undelivered after being instructed to deliver them. As a result, you demonstrated improper conduct. It says I had a PDI with my former president, and blah blah blah. And then it states these charges on here. It lists the charges: 665.13 discharge of duties, 665.15 obedience to orders. It says 665.11 loyalty. And the way I beat this was fairly easy, because the discipline letter failed to mention any conduct that was improper. So I don't understand, like, they didn't really mention anything that was improper there. it just said I didn't follow their instructions, but their instructions they weren't really good instructions. Like I actually did what I was supposed to do that day. I think that day they told me to have an 8 hour day. I needed an hour or so of overtime, and they denied it. So when you have a 96 and they deny your time, what do you do, Josh?
Yeah, you're gonna have to decide to bring it back, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's either you can talk to them on the scanner, you can send them a message, but if you have that 3996 authorizing you that they don't want to give you any extra time, you just bring it back to the office, and that's exactly what I did.
Now,
Um, and
what
they
about
like they didn't provide me with any information and anything like that. So
that charge 665.11?
yeah, go ahead.
That loyalty, that never they can never actually show that you're disloyal. That sounds like a really
Exactly. They didn't give me any information to prove that I wasn't loyal or anything of that fact.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I think and it's funny on here because when I look back on this, they said that I had a meeting with them with my president who was the sitting steward with like had to do the PDI with me, but they never had a PDI. They outright lied about it.
Wow.
They lied about having a PDI with me. There is no PDI, no nothing. So everything, this whole thing was just done because they didn't follow due process. They lied the whole way.
And at what level did you win that
So
grievance?
that was a very easy one to win. I think I won that at Formal A.
All right, that's
Just
cool.
about all my grievances I won at Formal A because yeah, and Informal just doesn't do anything. They really don't.
All right, that's a good example. I think it's important that we pay attention that when you're being told that you're not following instructions, it is important that we look at exactly what were the instructions. They can't say that, oh, well, you know that you're supposed to do that, because that wouldn't be an instruction. That would be a violation of whatever provision you're supposed to do. Instructions are very direct. So I like that you put it that way.
Yeah, a lot of times management will give weird instructions and they'll say, like the example that I said, one of my managers always says manage your route. What does that mean? I have no clue what that means. I've even
Yeah,
asked her, what are you talking about? Just manage your route. I have no idea what that means.
I think I know what it means. I think it means that you got to sit inside in an air conditioned office and then basically follow your route by GPS, because that's what they do as managers.
Exactly. Hey, I've asked her. Like I asked her, well, all my management several times because multiple people have said it. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Can you tell me what that means? And they just keep repeating themselves. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do what I want out there.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see what else we got here.
Okay, the next one. This is we're dealing with the EP here. And of course, anybody who's on emergency placement, you got to take these serious because it is discipline no matter what management wants to tell you. They want to take you off the clock. This is indeed a form of discipline. I think I think an arbitrator said that as well. Isn't that right, John? I forgot the arbitrator. Was it Mick though?
Well, I do think some arbitrators do take the position that it is discipline, and some take the position that it's not. It's a tough. EPs are always a tough case to win at arbitration.
That is true. That's very true. Like in my experience, I found EPs at my station very, very, very easy. For the simple fact that when they give you the EP letter, they don't explain the charge. They don't explain what happened that day. So right off the bat, right there, you got them because you have to have specifics on why you put a letter carrier on EP.
Yeah, because if they don't have the specifics as to the charge, how can the union mount a formidable defense? They're taking away part of your due process.
Exactly, exactly. And this EP letter was well, I was I think I say that? I think this is mine. This is my EP. I've uh I've had two emergency placements while being a steward here in my 2 years of being a steward. So not going to be the last. I don't think they're going to be the last. But um, like when doing this EP, I think what happened was me and the manager, we had a little disagreement. Um, one of the carriers said that he wanted a 1571. And he said that the manager wasn't going to get him a 1571. So they jacked a little bit back and forth. He called me over. He said, "Hey, this supervisor isn't giving me a 1571. Can you help me?" I said, "Okay, cool." I went over there. I said, "Okay, so what's the problem?" She said that so and so has his instructions. So I said, "Okay, well, if he has his instructions, you're telling him to well, I guess you want him to curtail mail." Um, and then he like I said, if you want this person to curtail mail, then you got to give him a 1571. She said no. And then I told her, look, it's either you got to get him this 1571 or you're refusing. And she told me to get back to my fucking case. Plain as day. I said, whoa. So I'm like, you're not going to disrespect me on the workroom floor. And then I said, now she said something else. So I walked away. I said, y'all are acting stupid. And she said, what did you say? I said, you're acting stupid. So she said, you can clock out and go home. I said, fine. And then she came back later and was like, you've been placed on EP. So obviously, that's not an EP offense when you tell a manager that they're acting stupid. And she cussed at me. So that's basically what I argued in this EP. I argue that it's not an emergency, and uh, and I learned that, like, I learned a bunch of stuff from Corey Walton. You know, a little shout out to Corey. That you have to, there has to be some type of emergency, and these managers are weaponizing emergency placement like crazy.
Yeah.
I've
So
only been a steward for 2 years, and I've dealt with several EPs.
I think you're highlighting here an important phenomenon that has been reoccurring in the NALC, and that is, like you said, management is utilizing these EPs to place carriers into unpaid status as a form of intimidation, more specifically as a threat to stewards who know how to give the elbow of education to management, like yourself. So that's important to note that, like Obi said, that you should not be placed on EP for a matter that is conduct related. It should be if you're injurious to yourself or others. As Obi stated, he said you guys are acting stupid, which in my opinion is the truth. You know, you can't be. It's like trying to get mad at Gandhi, you know. But you know, the fact of the matter remains that he was not injurious to himself or others. Any reasonable person would understand that just saying you guys are acting stupid is not a threat.
It definitely wasn't a threat. And when I think when I met on this grievance with the former lay, she was kind of the postmaster was siding with the manager the whole time until I don't understand why they didn't see like the file and stuff and the statements that multiple people have put in the file, and they immediately like rescinded and expunged it. I didn't have to talk about it. As soon as I told her, look, I got statements from your manager who was there and said that she cussed at me. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that she cussed at you. I wouldn't have like concurred on the EP." I'm like, okay, whatever. But I got a free vacation out of it. So there's that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's always good to have a paid vacation. Yeah. So, what do you got left in store for the third discipline?
This is everyone's favorite is attendance. I get it, and this particular person is very, very bad at attendance. Just ridiculously bad at attendance.
Hey, I'm not
But
that bad.
as we all know, hey, I'm not that bad either. But yeah, but this particular person, this carrier was just really bad at attendance. And what happened was yeah, they just keep missing a bunch of days. So what management did was they kept on giving her what's the like the return to work packets, and they were keep giving her return to work packets every time that she would call out. Um, so it was annoying that I had to keep dealing with that, and so eventually, um, they tried. I think that like they tried like they were harassing her. They tried to go out to the street. They tried to spy on her on the street. They tried to EP her for a bunch of different things, just trying to get rid of this carrier. And I wasn't having it. I don't care if I like a carrier, don't like a carrier, whatever a carrier does. I'm here to enforce the contract. I'm not going to put any type of feelings in it. I'm just here to enforce the contract. And what they were doing, they're just harassing this person. And and then and later on, I think she got a 14 day. And they forgot to grieve it. So they're trying to get rid of this carrier so bad that I think they kept missing days, and so they gave her a removal for attendance. And they did this twice, mind you. And I beat both of them. I beat both of them because, and I have both of them here because they were copied, word for word, and it looked like Labor did it. So I think I defeated both of them because of the PDI. Now, in a PDI, you know, stewards have the right to talk to and like the manager and the carrier and ask questions. With with the PDI that I had in both instances, they kept saying that the steward cannot talk, they cannot speak and they can't answer questions or ask questions or anything until after the PDI is over. So we know that's a violation of Article 17 right off the gate. And it's actually printed on here.
It's the Weingarten rights.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, and it's actually printed on here. And they keep doing it. It's hilarious. I laugh every time I see it when I do a PDI. I just laugh because it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. That management would violate your Weingarten rights on a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is. And you're gonna like this, Josh. On the second question, on both of the notice of removals, you are being charged with failure to be in regular attendance. Do you understand?
Wow. Yeah, that's not objective.
No, it's not. And you're also saying that you're going to charge a carrier during the investigation. So the investigation ain't even started yet. And you're going to charge a carrier, saying that they're going to be charged already.
You already decided, yep.
Yep. You already decided it. And it's a bunch of different arguments in here. Like I argued those two. And they also said that they violated 665.15 obedience to others. And in both PDIs, they never mentioned obedience to others. They never mentioned that she didn't follow any type of instruction or anything. They just said that she just didn't report to work.
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier. That's what a lot of times they like to equivocate failure to follow a policy as failure to follow an order. So a lot of times they'll say, well, you know you're supposed to be regular in attendance, so you have failed to follow your order to be regular in attendance. But that's not how orders work. An order is something that's direct. That is like, it's not like, hey, the handbook is an order. You have to give a carrier an order. And they don't understand that for some reason.
It's like, I really don't know who's training these managers, Josh. I really don't. I don't understand it. They my management barely gets anything right. It's hilarious, actually. I just laugh every time I see it.
I got one thing to add about attendance cases that I learned recently. I'll give you guys a piece of advice. One thing that can help you with attendance, because attendance is always tough because they normally did the charge. So you got to find procedural flaws. And one thing that I found may exist, depending on your area, is that I guess the information from tax and ERMS don't exactly communicate. And sometimes managers will get lazy and they'll rely on one system rather than inputting data into both. So if you get the tax information and it doesn't match the 3072 or any of the other ERMS information, you can use that as the fact that they're not keeping records with integrity, because it'll make it look like their attendance records. One system will say that they were there, one system will say that they're not. So a lot of times Step B won't really mess with that. They're going to give it to you because they're supposed to keep their records in order. How can you say that this person actually wasn't there when your systems are not even saying the same thing?
And that's a great point that you bring up, because that's exactly what they did in this one. It's exactly what they did. They what was it? What was that? I think it was. It's here. I just had it on me. What? Here we go. The what is that? What is that? That show it shows. Yeah, the 3972s, and it shows the attendance, and it just looks atrocious across the board. But they only cited 3 or 4 instances that somebody was not at work for the whole quarter. And to me, I don't think 3 or 4 absences in a whole 90-month stretch, I mean, like a 90-day stretch, is warranted.
Yeah, that's
A lot of
another
people miss
good point.
3 days.
If you know that lesson was learned from Corey. He likes to say that, use that percentage game, like you said, 3 or 4 in a 90-day period is a large percentage of actually being in good attendance, because that probably equivocates to something like 90 something percent, and that's actually excellent attendance, even though like you said, the other system says that the attendance is not that great, but that's not what their charges reflect.
Yeah, the charges didn't reflect that at all. And then like on the charge letter, it only said that she violated those obedience to orders, and then it just lists some other charges. Didn't say that they violated any of those. So I'm like, what are you just listing charges? Like what? You just, well, not charge. You just listen freaking ALM provisions. Well, I don't know what she's done. You just said that they violated not listening to you.
Yeah.
That doesn't equate to any attendance. So yeah, it was easy. That was a very, very easy win. And I don't know if anybody else has those types of managers who blatantly miss things on here, because just about every discipline grievance that I have, management does something wrong on the charge. And I'm glad Corey brung that up, that just look at the charge first. You ain't even got to look at what the person did yet. What does it say on that charge letter that you can hook something on, or multiple things you can hook on, and build your argument off of that? And for me, it was a bunch of them, and I could just pick, but I just did everything, and it was an easy win on that one.
Nice. Now, before we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd like to add before we say goodbye? Because I think it's probably around 30 minutes. It's a normal episode length, and I think we're good to go. But we're definitely going to have you back on sometime in the future, hopefully without this audio delay. I'm going to see if I can eliminate it in post-production, but hopefully, people don't mind it. But do you have anything else to add?
Nah, man, just well, I gotta, like, just one thing, like with stewards and stuff like that. Just make sure you get your timelines in order. Make sure you don't listen to management and what they're telling you. Like a lot of, for example, like my management counterparts, when I first started, they told me that I had to send my packets with them, and we send the packets together. And that's not how it works. You, as a steward, the person who is filing that grievance, you have the power to move that grievance. You do, not management. please move the grievance how you want to move it. You tell them, this is why I need to meet. You got this many days to meet with me. If they don't meet with you, you send it. That's it. You don't have to do anything with them. Only thing that's required, that we got to meet with them.
Yeah.
And if they got their contentions and stuff, you swap those. That's it.
Yeah, that's good advice, man. It was good having you on. I appreciate you coming on such a late night episode. It's like, what, at 8 p.m. or something like that. But, man, the great OB on the Parcels of Knowledge podcast. Good to have you on, man.
I appreciate it, man. I hope you have me on another time, and I hope I see you at the convention. You going?
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
Good deal.
If these guys are getting educated, we will be in big trouble.
Management's been weighing you down like a bag of wet catalogs, but you don't gotta take it. You strap on the elbow of education, dig it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God, we need Article 8 scholars right now. The grievance genius, the Roseville Wrecking Ball, doing amazing work.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the Mailman's Playbook, brother.